Phantom Leader is a solitaire board game based on air operations carried out by US Navy and Air Force planes during the Vietnam War. This won't be an instructional video, more a telling of a story, so don't expect to leave understanding how to play this game. If you want to know how to do that, Stukajo has a great video you can watch instead of this one. My attention was really drawn to the game because I've loved the McDonnell Douglas Phantom since my dad gave me a model one when I was 4. I love the Phantom as much as I love X-Wings, and anyone who knows me will know just how much love that is. So it came as quite a surprise that I didn't use a single Phantom in the story that's about to unfold. The story begins by selecting the campaign. I picked the short length War in the South campaign, and because it's such a short campaign, just 2 days, I get a small squadron of 5 planes, and can have 2 fewer aircraft than the recommended flight strength for each mission. One of the special rules for this campaign is no bandits, so at least I won't have to deal with pesky MiGs. Here's my squadron, and as you can see, no Phantoms. Mostly I picked these planes for their ground attack capabilities, as I don't need to worry about any enemy bandits. But I'll confess the names Trigger and Digger were too tempting a duo not to pick. I giggled like a schoolgirl over that. Anyhow, here was my first mistake. As you'll note, the campaign happened during 1965. My 2 Corsairs didn't enter service until 1972. I didn't actually notice that until I started editing this video. Oh well, it'll only be a problem if I use either of them later. The target I randomly selected is a truck park. I won't go into all the rules that come along with that. Suffice to say it's a soft target I'll need to blow the hell out of. And on the downside, I'll only get to fly 2 planes on this mission. Judging by the map, the target's in Laos. It's also quite far from my airfield, so it will cost more fuel if I want to carry a full payload of bombs. I won't bore you with how that's done. All you need to know is I did it, so my planes will be fully loaded. Next, I placed the enemy air defences. I'll tell you a little more about these later, but all you need to know at this minute is that they're a mixture of anti-aircraft batteries and big machine guns. Having seen the air defences, I can now choose and arm the 2 planes that I'll send on the mission. Remember those troublesome Corsairs? Well, you guessed it, those are the 2 planes I picked. They were by far the best option, but as they're from 7 years in the future, maybe that was no surprise. I arm Houston with a bullpup air-to-ground missile to deal with one of those troublesome long-range guns in the centre area, and I give him a shed load of snake-eye bombs to destroy the truck park itself. Digger gets a couple of rockets to suppress the fire from the other gun in the centre, and a couple of 750-pound bombs to finish off the trucks. With both planes loaded up, it's time to get the mission underway. I next draw a target-bound event card, and get the chance to recover an MIA pilot. Since this is the first mission in the campaign, that's not a great deal of use to me, but it does no harm either. Houston and Digger arrive at the target, and enter the designated pre-approach area to the west of the truck park. Time to draw my over-the-target event card. Oh, somebody made a big mistake here. Looks like I've been suffering from faulty intel as 2 bandits appear over the centre area. I get 1 damage to the target too, but now I have 2 enemy planes to deal with and no anti-air weapons. Both planes have cannons, but they're so weighed down with ordnance they're as good as useless. That's my second mistake, but a tactical one rather than not paying attention to the rules. Randomly draw 2 bandits, hoping these are false contacts. But my luck's out, and I draw a MiG-17 and a MiG-21. I'm now in big trouble. Nothing's in range to fire at us yet, so both US planes move, and so do the MiGs, right towards Houston and Digger. Both my pilots are slow, so the enemy gets to attack first. The MiG-21 targets Houston. Carrying all that ordnance means Houston's in no position to get into a dogfight, so he goes evasive and takes 2 stress points. The MiG launches an atoll missile and rolls a 10. Ordinarily that would blow Houston out of the sky, but he's gone evasive and so the MiG has to roll again. A 3, that's a miss. Houston lives to fight another day. Next, the MiG-17 targets Digger, who also goes evasive and takes 2 stress points. Too much stress is going to hamper my pilots later in the mission, so I'll need to be careful using these evasive manoeuvres. The MiG rolls a 2 and a 1, so he's completely missed the target. The M1939 gun emplacement has a range of 1 and can fire at high altitude targets. He draws a bead on Digger. This gun is pretty deadly and Digger is likely to take some sort of effect, so he doesn't evade. Whatever happens, this will stick. The gun rolls a 1, the only possible roll that doesn't have any effect, and it's a complete miss. It's amazingly good luck. There are no more enemies in range, so my pilots get to attack, and I start with Houston, who will fire that bullpup at the M1939 in the centre. Houston has an air-to-ground skill of +2, so he adds to whatever he rolls. It's an 8, plus the 2, it's a 10, 2 hits. That's more than enough to destroy the gun, scratch one enemy battery. That S-60 in the centre can only target low-level aircraft, so it couldn't attack us in this turn. But it will be a problem next turn when the planes drop to low altitude to drop their bombs. My cunning plan is to destroy them with rockets before that happens. But rockets are low-level weapons, and both planes are at high altitude, so I can't use them. Another tactical error. If I was at low level I could use them, but that would draw fire from both heavy machine gun emplacements in the western approach area. Best laid plans and all that. Time to move on, and both planes move into the centre and drop to low level. Unfortunately, those bandits do the same. The MiG-21 zeroes in on Houston's tail again. I don't want to risk taking too much stress, so I decide not to evade. The MiG rolls a 3, and its atoll missile loses its lock and sails harmlessly out of sight. Thank goodness for 60s Russian technology. Now the MiG-17 slips in behind Houston. Houston has balls of steel, so he stays on target and takes no evasive action. The MiG rolls a 7, trace a stream past the cockpit. Houston takes another stress point. Meanwhile, that pesky S-60 comes into play now that we're at low altitude. It targets Digger. He doesn't evade and the gun lets loose. It rolls a 4 and misses. I'm not sure how much longer my good luck will hold out. The S-60 in the eastern approach is in range, but it's behind a hill so has no angle of attack, so we don't need to worry about that right now. However, the KS-19, well, that's a different matter as it has a clear field of fire. It trains its sights on Digger, and I'm about to make another big mistake. Remember those rockets? I could use them to suppress that gun by firing them now. That won't destroy the gun, but it might stop it from firing at me. Rockets have a modifier to suppress of 3. Added to Digger's air-to-ground skill of +1, that means a roll of 3 will be enough to see me okay, but I totally forget to do it. The gun will do me some harm regardless of what it rolls, so Digger evades in an effort to minimise that. The first roll is a 9, just as well Digger went evasive or he'd be toast. Oh disaster, another 9. Digger's blown out of the sky. He's out, so we still have a chance to rescue him, but it's deep in enemy territory and they really don't like US pilots here, so his future looks bleak. It's all down to Houston now. He drops all 4 of his snake eyes. He has an air-to-ground skill of +2, and the bombs have a +2 modifier against soft targets like these trucks, so he gets to add 4 to all his rolls. The first roll is a 10, modified to 14, that's 2 hits. Next is a 1 modified to 5, completely missing. Then a 4 modified to 8 for another hit, and a 6 modified to 10 for 2 more hits. That's 5 hits in total, 6 counting the hit we got thanks to the over-the-target event card. That damages the truck part but doesn't destroy it. Time to hightail it out of there, so Houston gains altitude and zooms over the eastern approach area pursued by those 2 MiGs. The MiG-21 takes another shot at Houston. I'm not sure how, as he's already fired 2 atolls, but he sends another my way anyway. Houston plays the odds and doesn't evade. A 1, another dud. But it's not over yet as the MiG-17 gets on Houston's tail. Again, Houston doesn't evade. A 2, another miss. Lucky for us, these must be the worst pilots in the entire North Vietnamese Air Force. The last threat we'll face is that KS-19 taking another potshot at us. Houston's nerves beginning to crack, so he goes evasive and takes 2 more stress. Now he's shaking. Roll number 1 is a 9. Oh, we get another 9 like the last time. Ah, it's a 2. Houston takes another stress point, but he's okay. Time to move one last time. Even though he's still pursued by those unexpected bandits, he ends his turn in the eastern pre-approach area, so leaves the target. Drawing the homebound event card gives the whole squadron a steak dinner. Yum yum. That'll de-stress them by 1 point, which Houston certainly needs after this traumatic day. But let's not forget about Digger. He bailed out over the target, but our motto is no man left behind, so a Sky Raider and a Jolly Green Giant are dispatched to find him. We need to roll a 6 or more to bring him back. An 8, recovered under fire, and an additional 5 stress for Digger. That takes him to 7 stress. If you recall, the mission itself gave the pilots 2 stress, so Houston and Digger are up to 8 and 9 respectively. However, don't forget about that steak dinner. That and Houston's cool rating of 1 leave the pilots at 6 and 8. Both are shaken but still fit to fly. Just. While they tuck into that steak, time for me to reflect on the mission. I made a metric ton of tactical errors, plus the odd mistake with the rules. But this was a lot of fun. For anyone who enjoys solitaire gaming, Phantom Leader's a great option. Tally ho!
Quite sure there are more errors in this video than the ones I've called out. Certainly I feel Digger should have taken more stress when he was shot down, so I probably missed that. Also, some of the images don't really match the action, but that's Hollywood for you. I hope you enjoyed this. It was certainly a shed load of work to put together, so thanks for watching.